I'm gonna ask every fixed sign what it is about change. And we know, we're just gonna ask anyway, because this is a time of change and we're in it, so we might as well include it into the reading. Hi Aquarius, this is your August 2024 reading, Leo season, fixed fire. Right across from you, all information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version. Give it 24 hours right now after this comes out to take a look on Patreon. My link tree is below for everything. My services are on Instagram. I'll post them on YouTube this week. Pricing, way to contact me is also below. To book is also below. Podcast is below. New segment each month going through the sign, what I'm experiencing personally, what I'm sensing intuitively, and what comes up also with the body part related to this sign. So it's like preparation, getting more into that if you haven't thought about it before. Philosophically, metaphysically, that's my jam. That's where, and that's what I bring into here as well, just different. First card out is the Sun card, Aquarius, in Leo season. How about that? Coming in hot. It's also a season of the inner child. So what's been calling to you? What are you resisting? It's probably come up as a sign quite a few times. If you just, for example, painting or doing something that you really enjoyed and even maybe put a smile on your face, why haven't you done that yet? And if you can, I would go do it. And notice what happens. Notice what happens with your brain. Do you try to cling to something else because the enjoyment is something you're not consistently feeling right now? Can you lean into it? Do you feel free? Do you feel pressure? Do you feel pressure to perform? What is being exposed? The change is going to bring about light, and light is being shown upon, thus that needs change in Leo season. And it's in the fire, and of course the fire is not comfortable. No over amount of fixed energy without a break, without momentum, when it's stuck in every single fixed element, fixed sign, it can become suffocating. These came out first, the ones on the floor. Six of Wands, the Devil, Nine of Cups, Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles. The vulnerability of facing your ego, facing what has controlled you for so long, and how moving through that in your mind helps then move the waters of emotion, which helps you move through this experience of noticing what's been controlling you, right? It's like, even if you've had an addiction to something, or you do something around the same time every day and that gets switched up, there's still an attachment and a wanting to replace something else. It's like this emptiness that you can feel, even though there's like, you're so much is around, but it's like, no, this is actually what's keeping you stuck, is this feeling of coming back to this content, because it's not really coming back to content. It's like this illusion of it. It's the sense of control that you have, maybe. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. But for Aquarius risings, Pisces in the second house, with Neptune and Saturn in retrograde, Pluto in I was going to say Pluto reverse, like we're playing Uno. Pluto in retrograde in your sign. Whatever is breaking down or whatever is changing, whatever is shifting in this Tower moment, it's from what you reveal as you enter Leo season. The warmth can turn into a blazing heat that doesn't always feel so good, and exposes you to where you need courage and bravery, and it can give it to you or it can help you feel inadequate. And this season, it's again these attachments is transforming, and it's causing a density, a heaviness. But at the end of the heaviness, for some people, that's where the shift then starts, because it's only through there that the change then occurs, that you can start the process, because you have to become vulnerable to that, to then be almost like provoked in order to then shift. The Tower moment also includes this insight. You're being exposed to these patterns in order to receive perhaps inspiration or insight in this change in your life. This change has to do with a lot. No, but for real. This change is going to, it's an adjustment period. You're in a transition time, and I wouldn't have any expectations of something being over or finished. You know, nothing's going to be finished or done for a while. This is about balancing out your life, because it's obviously something's gone way out of balance. And your ability to have that enjoyment, to have that play, especially in your one-on-one relationship, something's been, it could be that something internal you've not wanted to resolve, but everything that's going on is revolving around it. Like, this is the sun and this is the pinnacle. In order to move forward, in order to understand, you must take a look at this and balance this out, and you need room, you need space. So you may find yourself cleaning out a lot. You may want to go easier, drinking lots of water on the body. Your heart is also open into seeing this, and because you're able to see this and see, not only just see it, but give it attention, the kind of attention it needs to be acknowledged, to then be resolved. But at first it's going to feel some type of way, because it has been coming for you for a while. For some of us, letting go of control means getting to the point of like, okay, I've exhausted all my options. I knew I had to get here anyway, but I needed to give myself the space to experiment, explore, whatever it is, to then get to a place to accept that, okay, this is actually the route I need to take. This is the route that we go. And then the Tower moment happens, and a restoration of balance and time and energy to yourself. Is that why fixed signs? We know this. We know, because everything changes. So much changes. When a fixed sign shifts, it's like, for all signs it's like that, but with you guys it's so much because it's a commitment. It's this commitment to another way, or to this change that needs to be implemented throughout every other system of your life. But what if you started in one place and just gave it the trickle effect? Oh wow, that's a lot of cards. It's this digestion of understanding that what your worth and what your value is doesn't come from, your ability to hold things together, hold concepts together, to always have some kind of answer, or always to see things the way they are, or to hold back. No, this is your time to explore and see how deep commitment goes for you, and how maybe it stopped you in the past because at some point you may have thought you made the wrong decision. But it's not about making the wrong decision. Whatever decision you make, it's always going to bring you where you need to go. Each decision comes with its own lessons, positive, negative. It comes with its own expression of where you're going in life. And the space, Aquarius, it looks like it's given you to see within your value system. Pisces, the second house is all about self-worth, self-value. First house is identity. It feels confusing, but you can find yourself rooted down by the exchange and the commitments that you're making and the people in your life, and through these people you can see yourself if you allow. There are some trains of thought and some people who think we can really only learn by relating. So this may be a mixed bag month of internal and external, because you are seeing not only the wall, but for what the blockage that it is, the protection that it's become, and how it actually has come to your detriment to actually, you've been even working your way hard to stay there so that you don't have to move forward. I learned something interesting, that the addiction isn't about getting to, like a gambler, it's not about it's not about when they're at the casino, it's about going there. It's the ride there, if that relates at all. That's what you're headed towards, and that's why I think fixed signs or fixed placements have a hard time shifting, because there could be nowadays this illusion of that when you get there, it's not going to be enough, or it's not going to be good, or you're going to want to change anyway, so why even make the decision? Because that's your path. You just continue to shape and evolve and move and change in your own timeline, and you're being adjusted to a different one, and it is going to cause discomfort. It's going to cause you to question your security and defend what you do have and what you've had, but it also may resolve this defense, or for you making any crazy risks at this time. Mercury retrograde and Virgo also may bring you through a time where you can see how important it is for you to reflect on certain moments in your life that have gotten you exactly where you are. And if you look around and you ask yourself, a few years ago, what would have I wanted? If you're looking around and this is what you're asking for, it's happened. And now you're asking for the next set of things, and you know what that feels like to go out on that limb and desire, because you don't exactly have it now. But who's to say in a few years from now, or a year from now, or the shift doesn't happen even quicker? You don't know the timeline. It's just being clear about what you're making, and also knowing that in some arenas of life it is a long game, and for some arenas of life right now it is trying things, is giving yourself permission to have a palette where you're trying things, where you're tasting and just giving yourself options, especially if it keeps coming back up. Why are there options? Well, hello. This also may connect you even more spiritually. Your whatever you're struggling with, your worth is a struggle with maybe your identity, with where you're at, with what you need to see or receive at this time. Whatever exchanges you're having to have as well have a lot of weight to them, have a lot of power to them. what you're moving on from has a lot of power too, and that's why there's so much holding. It's like a slingshot. You're just like waiting, but you can't wait too long, right? You have to let go at some point. You have to let go and allow yourself to realize that as you let go, whatever stays standing with you is what you build upon. That's the answer. Sometimes the answer is not actually deciding specifically, but it's deciding who you want to be, and who you don't want to be will continue to fall away. Is it that easy? Sometimes, but sometimes you have to come up against different things, talk to different people who expect you maybe to be a certain way, maybe didn't realize it, and all of a sudden you've shifted, you've entered this new timeline where certain people, you won't even meet certain energies anymore. Your frequencies don't add up. All of a sudden you're meeting new people, or there's a pause, and then you start meeting new people, or you start meeting people who are similar, and that's when you get to choose. Is this still for me? Is this still what I want? Is this when, if I'm balancing, recalibrating, all of this energy is opening up for me, you know, I've done enough thinking, it's time to act. But where am I coming from when I'm making a decision, when I'm acting on something? That's that play in the field materially right now, because that's maybe where your experiments are for some of you. This is also about a shift in your role, perhaps, and we'll get more into this role, or how you're being seen at this time in your career, how this connects with your one-on-one relationships and how you're seen in these relationships, and how that will even be shifting at this time. And giving space to having these moments, especially if it's been a while. It's possible that whatever you are holding on to you could be holding on to something from a similar situation, and it has the same energy, but it will help dissolve everything and help deepen this insight that you've carved to the connection that you're making between yourself and your higher power, and how that represents you physically also on this earth. You have to remember this month that you're the light. You know, there's so much that will be exposed to us. We just came from the moon and now we're in the sun. And that you can support yourself, and that you've built the stomach, and you've already digested so much, and now it needs to take it even deeper, and there's a deeper digestion about what you've received thus far. And now as you open up even more, it's asking you to also be brave enough to not only have desires and wants and needs and shifts to happen, it's also having the courage to deal with the consequences of what that looks like, at least right now. So it's a bittersweet time, and it'll get easier to digest come next month. It'll be easier to feel and let go. Things can feel very heightened this month, and finding that neutrality, finding that graciousness within yourself to reconnect to yourself at any point this month, especially when you're going through the shift where things feel very open, yet you're still learning and you feel youthful. You may want to protect some certain things about yourself, and also connect with someone who you find to be spiritually grown, who you can maybe talk to. You might need like an advisory or a mentor. You may be looking for something along that line that helps you learn the way in which you need to learn right now, and realizing that there's this uniqueness that but you're getting really honed in on at this time. You're finding out something about yourself that you've needed to see with your sense of control and your sense of clarity. We talked about that last night, the sense of the senses. And now you see what you've needed all this time in order for things to take full course, in order for things to make the actual shift, to take the time it needs to take. If at the end of the month you become secure with understanding that sometimes you are provoked so that you have the energy, you're almost holding back until you know that you're ready and have the energy, instead of it being like, oh, I'm waiting, because that could be it. But now it's like, oh, I'm just preserving my energy until I know it's the right time, and then boom, I keep what I need and everything else shifts around you. It's almost like a superpower. It's really cool. But yeah, just so much is sitting across from you, so it's a lot being exposed. It's just remember that being grounded within yourself, and this is bringing you through that place to find groundedness within the mind and then the spirit, and how that helps connect to that sense of self even. It's all of that. And as this is changing, it's reminding yourself of that, and you may need that constant reminder in the next 20 years. You may find different mantras or different reminders or different synchronicities or symbols will help you along this road of shifting. My little Aquarius baby. Sweet boy. He loves the cards so much. Yeah, Aquarius, it's not being afraid of like knowing that this is coming from a powerful place within you that started as just a little whisper, and now it's changing your entire life, and trusting that you won't. Sorry, I almost knocked something over. He's so big. They think they're so small, you know? It's trusting that, trusting yourself, this connection that you're having, the space that you're being given, trusting that at this time you're being given this for this to happen, for this shift to occur, that no matter what comes at you, you're okay. Your nervous system is okay. So that is ultimately the priority, is your nervous system and how supported you feel, not just in your physical life, which is so important, but within your heart. And if you don't have that kind of support with your heart, you don't feel safe enough to be vulnerable, or you're just getting safe enough with friends to become more vulnerable and be open, it's time. It's a good time to be open and share that. You may find yourself experiencing more joy. You may even recruit someone to your team, maybe a new healer, or someone else who can help you see you and be with this. Support is necessary for sure. All right, Aquarius, can't wait to get into the rest of this. There's a lot going on here, but I think this is going to help strengthen the mind, especially where you've maybe been a little overly worried or focused on, or something's been brought to your attention and you somehow aren't finding any ease. And I want to see if we can find some. We'll get more into the next part. All information to work with me one-on-one is below as well. All the information is down there. We talked about it. We'll see you in the next part and next month.